Welcome to Envisioned Broadcasting Radio, your station for empowerment, music, and talk radio. EB Radio presents Empower Hour with Jaresha. A show that shares the stories behind the journeys of leaders, influencers, and motivators. The Empower Hour with Jaresha begins now.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, amazing people, and welcome back to Empower Hour with Jaresha. I am your host, Jaresha Moore-Smith, and it's another amazing Wednesday, and I'm so happy that you're tuning into the show. Like I say every single week, I believe that you have the power to be great, have great, and do great. You just have to be willing to unleash your greatness and take action. Now listen, amazing people, today I have a topic that we're going to talk about that I feel like is pretty good. It's a really good topic. You guys know that as a coach, I just want to empower, encourage, motivate everyone that's listening. And I feel like today is one of those days where it's a conversation that we all need to have. But before I jump into that, I have to tell you about an amazing contest that's happening this whole entire month, the whole month of August, that you need to be aware of. So right now, for the month of August, you have a chance to win a $25 gift card. Be it you can use it for gas, whatever you want to use it for. But right now until the end of the month, so all of August, you can actually go to Envision Broadcasting, which is www.envisionbroadcasting.com. Go to the Win tab and enter to win. Who doesn't want to have an extra $25? So make sure you check it out. Go to the Win tab so that you can get an extra $25 in your pocket. So like I said, today we're going to talk about an amazing topic that I feel like is always something that needs to be discussed and shared. And so when I tell you guys that today I am going to speak on how it's time for us to, with the lack of saying a better term, I would say shut up or be quiet, swallow our pride, and we need to really man up, women up, however, you want to put it. A lot of us like to say, or we've heard before, that we need to put our big girls and big boy pants on and deal with what's holding us back so we can begin to execute. We can let go. We can, get it and let's go, right? So we're talking about it's time to put those big girl and big boy pants on. And we all have heard this phrase. Some of us have said the phrase to other people, and I'm going to talk about that here a little bit later in the show. But it's all about how we have to be willing to swallow our pride. We need to stop talking. And I say shut up, even though that's really not a good term to use, but we have to. And this is a conversation that you're having with yourself. So let me be clear on that. We need to have this conversation with ourselves, not necessarily telling someone else that they need to swallow their pride, man or women up, and put those big girl, big pants on and really level up. And so that's the conversation that we're going to talk about today. And I'm really excited to talk about this. And so today I'm going to give you a few key points and let's just jump right in. So like I said, we have all heard that phrase, it's time to put your big girl and big pants on. And so moving forward during this show, I'm going to refer to it as B, G, and BB pants on. But we've all heard that phrase, and it's been used. We've used it to indicate, when we really need to handle, deal, or move in a manner that that really signifies a step towards growth and how we need to be adulting, as some of the young people put it. But we need to be handling our stuff, okay? We may have told others, and again, I don't feel like this is something you need to be telling others, but we may have even told our children that it's time. But what I want you to think about is, what about your own watch? What about your own time? What are some things in your life that you need to be willing to put, your BG and BB pants on and handle so that you can move forward? So yes, I'm talking about, this not only because I have had to have that conversation with myself. But when you recognize that there is really a thing, that, this thing, if you will, you have to be willing to share it with others. And so, it's a thing, y'all. It is an absolute thing. And I know that I haven't felt this way alone, whether have had the opportunity to work with other people or just feeling like they need to level up in their own life. And then also having that self-reflective time where you're saying, okay, I need to level up in my own life and I need to be willing to put my own, BG and BB pants on and quit playing around, right? So for me, it's all about self awareness. And so today I'm going to really dive into that self awareness and the self talk, that narrative that you're telling yourself or you should be telling yourself. So, the first key point that I want to make about being willing to have that conversation and say, you know what, I need to level up. I need to be willing to put my BG or BB pants on and really level up. It's all about self awareness. So, self awareness is the ability to tune into your feelings, your thoughts, and actions. Being self aware also means being able to recognize how other people see you. People who are self aware recognize their strengths and their challenges. Now, let me tell you this. Now, that alone is powerful in itself. And if you've never traveled down that self awareness road, I definitely feel like we all need to be self aware of just everything that's going on in our lives. And you've heard me talk about this on the show before, is we need to sit down and have a conversation and really dive deep in self and really understand ourselves, where we are, where we're trying to go. But I really think that a lot of this whole self awareness and being willing to put, those BG and BB pants on, we often avoid. So it's an avoidance thing. And so avoidance is when it's hard to deal with, deal with whatever it is that we're needing to deal with. And often we will avoid it instead of dealing with the inevitable or putting off having to handle our business, be it in personal, be it in business, handle our stuff. And so I'll tell you, I've had a hard decision. I had a hard decision in the past that I had to make about the future of my business, and it was at a time where I felt like putting it off or delaying was helping the process, and it wasn't. It only prolongs the process. And so what I had to realize is you can't, like, I could not. I finally had to have that conversation with myself and, kind of snap out of it and be like, what are you doing? You are only delaying the inevitable. Deal with this right now. Stop putting it off. This is a decision that you need to make. Why are you avoiding that decision? So we have to stop avoiding the things that we need to be handling in our personal life and business. And often there is emotions that is attached to it because we don't want to deal with the emotions. Like I said, I was, feeling that way. Like I didn't want to deal with it. And it was because of the emotions that was attached to it. And so we think that the best decision is to avoid it or put it off. And that is completely wrong. The best way to handle it is to run towards it. So sit down and begin to process it. You can create that the pros and cons list. So I use the pros and cons list a lot with a lot of different things in my life. I have, been known to pull out the big white board and write down things, just looking at the different things that I need to be working on and really just dealing with why am I having a hard time making this decision? And so I truly believe that if we continue to have and to continue to do those bad habits, if we don't make an effort to change our habits, we're gonna always have those same bad habits of avoiding handling the things that we need to, avoiding having the conversations and all of that. And I know it's tough, but at the end of the day, again, today we are talking about how we have to be willing to put on our BG and BB pants. So, what is the thing in your life that you are avoiding? And you're needing to put those BG and BB pants on and handle. Start by becoming more aware of how you're handling things and then the changes you need to make today. So, as I shared, like I said, I will pull out a notebook, piece of paper, a whiteboard, and begin brainstorming the different things. What are the pros? What are the cons? And writing out things. Sometimes it's helpful to be able to write out things and then maybe have that conversation. It's helpful to get things out of your mind, put it on paper, and then work on making the decision that you need to make. But avoiding it is not the answer. And so when we talk about putting your BG and BB pants on, what does that truly mean, right? So I really feel like you have to be ready for what is next. And so this makes me think about how I have children, of course, and when a child is being potty trained. And so that's really to me what this kind of stems from is, when it's time for, that child to reach that next phase to where almost they're transitioning out of that baby phase because you're going through potty training and it's time for them to reach that next level where they're going to continue the process in the phase of growing up. And that means they have to get rid of the baby stuff, the diapers and all of that. It's time for them to put those big boy, big girl pants on. And so, if you are a grown adult, like how most of us are that are tuning in and listening to the show, you went through this phase, when if you're a mom, dad, parent, you went through this phase with your own children with potty training and teaching them and how to put on, those BG and BB pants on. And because for most it was required. So it's required to go to that next step. So in order for you to go to school, in order for you to, maybe go to daycare or go to preschool, you had to reach or go to that next step. And so a lot of us, even, I'm thinking about when my own children went through this phase, they were really, really excited. And so we celebrated and, we had songs and everything else that went along with the whole phase of just going from the potty training and the next phase of their life. We had songs, but we celebrated, right? And so even though it may have been a challenge, for some children, it was a time when they had to embrace the next step. And even at a time where they didn't even know what the next step means. So they didn't know what was coming next. They just were excited because they reached that next level, that next step. I think we need to apply this to our own life right now. So whether we're in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, so on and so forth, for some reason, many of us have reverted back to that baby phase with handling and dealing with the things that we know we should be doing, but we choose not to do. We simply rather not deal with the pain, the hurt, the disappointment, or stepping out of our comfort zone. So we decide to stay in that current state, not realizing that it's hurting and harming us more than us being willing to move forward and deal whatever that thing is that we need to deal with. So, how do you begin to embrace the next level? By getting clear, okay? So, this is how you begin to embrace the next level by getting clear on where you are, what it is that's holding you back, and deal with it. And then also change the narrative and the mindset to embrace the new. because it's good for you and it requires action. So, the next point that I'm going to make is putting your BG and BB pants on means you have to take action. You have to take action. You know, like I just mentioned, with going through that phase with my children, I mean, we all have to go through that phase. If we looked at some of the challenges, some of the things that's happening in our lives as this is a part of the growing phase, and we may look at it as growing pains. This is a part of the growing pains. In order to grow, guess what? You're going to have pain. In order to grow, you're going to have obstacles, you're going to have challenges, you're going to have disappointments, you're going to have all of those things, but we have to be willing to deal with it. We have to be willing to handle it. We have to be willing to sit down and start unleashing and unpacking all of the things that come along with it. And I feel like in order for us to do that, we have to be willing to take the action. Now, the next thing that I want to mention when we think about putting our BG and BB pants on is that your blessing is in your willingness to recognize where you are and how far you can go if you only take action. So many of us need to sit down and look at that pain. Look at what's hurting us. Look at what's stopping us from moving forward. We need to sit down and, as I mentioned, we need to unpack that. And so as a coach, I want you to know that I am not here to sugarcoat. I am not here to try to make you feel good. Yes, I want to empower you. I want to motivate you. I want to inspire you. But I am here to give you the hardcore truth of the things that is required in order for you to level up, in order for you to go to that next level. So yes, it's my job to encourage, coach, empower, and really push others to that next level. But what happens if you don't have someone that is pushing you? What happens if you don't have that coach? And I'm so glad that, you may have asked this question because that means that you get to empower yourself. You get to push yourself. Now, this may come as a surprise to many of you, but your narrative and self-talk is more important than anything I will say, anything anyone else will tell you. And that is because your thoughts are very, very powerful. Now, it determines what you do, how you do it, when you do it, and why you do it. Belief drives behavior. And for you to tap into this understanding, it requires you to understand your vision and narrative. Vision being the faculty or state of being able to see and the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. Ask yourself, do you have a vision? Have you written it down on paper? Have you created an action plan for your vision? Have you attached your why to your vision? And what is the narrative driving your actions? See, narrative is a spoken or written account of connected events or a story. So let me put it to you this way. You have a thought that is connected, that what is connected to the thought? What emotion, what feeling, what person is connected to the thought? What is driving your actions or the lack thereof? There is always something connected to your narrative. So, like if you said, this upcoming quarter, I want to lose 20 pounds, yet you don't exercise or change any kind of habits, eating habits, or just any kind of habits, you have to become self aware and understand the behavior that's driving that. Because even if you're not doing anything, understand that is still an action. You may not be moving. You may not be, moving, progressing, and taking the steps that you need to take towards, meeting and accomplishing your goals. And even if you're not doing anything, know that that is an action. So you have to become self aware and understand the behavior. What is the narrative behind exercising and changing the habits? What is the negative and positive narrative behind wanting to lose the 20 pounds? And once you identify this, you can work to make the changes you need to make and develop a plan of action that also includes affirming. So, affirming and affirmation. So, any negative self talk can be replaced with positive ones. So, you begin to connect exercising with a positive narrative that is tied to your vision of health and your why, and tied to feeling better and having more energy, which ties to you putting those BG and BB pants on and handling your business. Now, in closing, I've heard some say that putting your BG and BB pants on can be a little bit insulting. And I would tell you that I don't necessarily agree with that. And that is my opinion. I believe that if we aren't willing to have hard and crucial conversation with ourselves about ourselves, we are doing ourselves and those who look up to us a disservice. So those that we are impacting, we're doing them a disservice because we won't sit down and handle our own business. Now, I do not believe we should be saying this phrase to another person at all. But I do believe, and so I can understand where the insulting piece of that by telling someone, you know what, you need to do this. Guess what? We need to stop checking other people and check who we're looking at, who's looking back at us in the mirror. But like I said, I do believe it's a way for us to push ourselves, for us to become self-aware and face that thing we need to deal with in our life and in our business. I only hope that today's show is not taken in a way that anyone feels insulted or attacked in any way, because that is not the intent. I hope that if it does anything, it allows you to look at self, look at your own stuff that you need to be dealing with, that you have not sat down and dealt with. Because like I said, the intent is for you to recognize where you are and do something about it to make it better. And if you have any comments or questions about today's show, please email admin@empoweronpurpose.com. I am your host, Jaresha Moore Smith, and this is the Empower Hour with Jaresha show. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay safe and be blessed.
Thank you for listening to the Empower Hour with Jaresha, where Jaresha speaks with leaders, influencers, and motivators who share their journey in personal and professional growth, empowerment tips, lessons learned, and keys of success that will empower you to your best self. Follow Jaresha on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jaresha Moore, and visit www.empoweronpurpose.com. Remember to be intentional and be empowered, and have a great day on purpose.